Tell a story.
A story.
Story of the self. Ghost self. One who left.
One who left.
Remembering. Braided hair and painted mask. Like faces of phases of a death. Once warm, welcoming, silence. No! No voice, no speech, but sound and kinetic skies of slashing solstice light, planet, thunder. Music, land sounds, wind sounds, sounds of man, woman, breathing, fire, smoke, rattle bones, and white noise of winter, howling. A rebellion of belonging to the earth. Crawling, walking, and crawling again. An unknown path of grace in muddy rivers. The gone moon, healing. Words spoken.
Words unspoken.
Old voices.
New spirits.
And no, they're not dead. Just hunting in a land without fences.
Ripe raspberries, slick stone, boulder mountain, acres of them, greedy, grabbing, hands and mouths stained red, leap and run, rain slippery talus, berserk, a hairless bear, reckless stretch, and boom, hard on my ass. Little finger smashed, stunned for a moment. You've had your fill, now leave the rest. Then up, limping, sucking my bloody tip, rock, to all fours as the slope steepens, angled rain beneath the summit, into clouds.
I want to be where the meat won't spoil and the insect populations don't hover. An obtainable goal if the hunt is clean and the weather cool. Again this year, I sharpened broadheads with Michael and planned with John a brutal third season, close into the odor of bull. A quick lifetime spent crossing nomadic thresholds in search of winter staples. As I follow game trails, trying to stay upwind of skunk, downwind of bear and buck, I delight in the given names of animals and the vital parts I've learned to give away myself. Burning, medicine bow, meat prayers, night falls, and the deer flies.
I bleach bones, paint the antlers of deer, bring home sage, dried berries. You're coming back tomorrow night. It's been 10 days. A string of elk vertebrae hangs over our bed. I'm often too tired to make love, or too busy, and wonder how this could be. It seems only a few years ago I couldn't get enough. Tonight, the pelvis of a deer, white for purity, red for passion. Do you wish more from me? I give what love I can. I bring you flowers and bones.
Man in the tent is not dying. He's just acquiring the skills to live sense the absence of meat, the rotting of teeth, or the sheep shearers longing for greasy bread. It has not been so long ago that the immigrant trains creeped across and cut this country open with puny livestock, faulty hardware. Someone wrote, rain will follow the plow, and the big timbers fell for feed, fuel, and the rawhide heat of lean-eyed women. I was one of many, and I was one of a few. I was one for one and all for one from the big Gat land, treating no one the same. Dormant weight in the heart, muffled war cries, add nothing to substance to the empty bags of weak flash powder, hardtack and short dogwood, stolen freight, bitter logic. We'll break man before beast. Before the ashes are emptied on all the strangers' boots, I will pull a sick one from the tent to gaze upon these man-infested vistas. I will share what plunder remains, and shade the sitting face of midnight, making her stroke just a little, as a slight reminder. If we're all still bleeding, if we're all still hungry, then we're all still alive.
James Taylor III. I crossed the border into Utah and met the devil in the highway. Drunk with the wind of engines, I chased him out across the blistering sky. I followed him blind up grinning purple mesas, got lost in haunted canyons carved by a bleeding river. Found him again in barbed wire scorpion fields that clawed the brittle air. We trailed dead cowboys down forlorn paths, screaming with rust and bullets, sweat, axle cracking, spirit busting, badly wronged right's way, leading everywhere, leading nowhere. The devil enjoyed every minute the uncertainty of the chase, with jagged white line whiskers and smoky tail-eyed eyes, sucking dust through his asphalt smile. He stretches into madness, the lust for a land without maps. Outside my caffeine eyes, the plateau blew by between slow dreams of erosion, visions of trees, much higher, much cooler. I wasn't chasing anymore, wasn't following. Slammed my foot on the gas and I spun right out of my skin, making sure to leave the devil something to eat on the long road home. Mike Adams.
If I could sing, I'd sing the wind in desert canyons, the sun coming up over hill after hill of prairie grass. Sing the smell of stale beer, clink of pool balls, cold sky, as I walk, none too steady, into the million stars of a Colorado night. Feet planted firmly, one in the air, one touching ground. I seek a home between two oceans, astride all my faults. I'd wind the song down every creek and draw in the front range. Throw in a verse for a while.
All night, tree hugging, wolf floating.
Ring-tailed cat. Weave it around the freight. Sound of diesels, 5 miles away, El Dorado Mountain. Awake, alone. It's late, and I'm hollow. Just a gut and heart. And the song crawls in and sings.
A man comes to the canyons with a handful of poems to write. He's here for the clarity, pure light, the austerity of sand dune, bedrock, vulture-haunted sky. He measures his lines by the scale of the cliffs, his meter by the tempo of streams. He searches for stories and finds them in dusty ruins, softly among ancient circles of stone. He writes with the music of waterfalls and scoured sweet green pools. His poems pour over slick rock, vanish as echoes in empty caves, return as shadowy trails into evening. He drinks the wine of the dying sun, the drugged glow of roses fading in the troposphere. Twilight he reserves for singing amid the din of the gratefully wild. Ravens, toads, wrens, and ringtails chatter, croak, and wail a strange hymn in the purple dusk, with an occasional soliloquy by Coyote, the only true poet of the bunch. Sunglasses in a full moon, the man keeps his eyes on that kind of madness. When he wants to sleep, he drinks tea made from the native plants. He gathers roots, stems, flowers, and leaves, experiments not with flavor, but with effect. He doesn't dream of California beaches, Oregon rivers, or Colorado peaks. He dreams only that he is sleeping here in this desert, by a whispering cottonwood in a lonely wash, a hot wind through the stars, soft rattle of leaves, spangled lure of the moon, a journey without machines.
Can the image be repeated at will, or initiated with that immediate pertinence of finding good roads, locating the voice above the rocks, unintentionally woven into warped strands of light, bound for every moon.
Howl, coyote!
Ever lean in your histories and Poison Valley. The moon darkens over erect ears. Listen to me, ahead of the highway horn sounding. An old skid drum between earth and moon, beating the newest angel into her dawn.
Along the road, where it winds by the river, 2 crows rose from the remains of a porcupine. That night, you catch Coyote, framed in headlights, as he drags the body away. Stop, walk to the edge, where pavement gives way to willow, cottonwood, and a thrill, not of fear or pleasure, rises through your feet, your spine. Neck hairs stand on end, a screen of brush and river behind. You stare, and staring back, 2 wild yellow eyes.
In this red rock land of mushroom domes and feathered spires, fiery pinnacles and defiantly balanced rocks, coyote dances through the days and blaze of noontime, hungry eyes alert to any movement in the silence of this bone-cleansing furnace. Flash of fur and sun bear witness to burning dreams of ruin and ancient walls with ochre hand. I will dance here too.
I tend a garden of stones, keep the old stories wrapped in smoke, warm against my chest. Years ago, I stood on a mountain peak at sunrise, having spent an endless night shivering under the stars. Today, I descend a long slope through rock and solitude. The weight of my years lies heavy upon my back. Below, a small fire, smell of wood smoke, and dreams.
When I go, I want to leave behind the hogan that I will one day build close to the mountain. It will not be deserted. The lost will always remember to return the dry blankets for the others who come, waiting out this starless night, listening to the echoes of my ageless dogs. Eric Walter, guitars, flutes, percussion.
Spirit that is other than myself. It feeds from the grains of another earth and drinks in long swallows from the banks of a river that flows in the far ranges of my mind. My spirit wears no clothes, but seldom is naked as it travels in a land where the sun does not burn. My spirit sleeps with open eyes under the night sky to have the stars shine in his dreams. My spirit dreams. My spirit dreams of falling, dreams of flying. My spirit dreams of childhood and dreams of growing old. My spirit dreams of crying and screaming and hating. My spirit dreams of love, dreams of loneliness. My spirit dreams about dreaming and dreams about waking up. My spirit dreams about me and what I might become. My spirit dreams about dying and returning to the lower house. My spirit dreams about sleeping where spirits cannot dream.
You are no longer certain of a world beyond these encircling hills, this small valley. No longer certain of a past or future. There is only the soft fall of snow, black shafts of pine trees, the breathing of someone you are no longer certain is you.
She knew for a dress and blue boots. Here in Drywall County, everything is against the line. And anyone who responds to the wounded rabbit call acknowledges that fate is the bastard child of luck. I wandered in with a couple of Adobe dollars and offered up a bet to the locator that it wouldn't rain on the blood of Christ for at least 3 weeks. The darkness began to swell, and the noises that erupt from a town on the verge echo with that continuous swish of dirt being thrown into a deep hole. Swaddling clothes that have never been soiled. The prospects she now sees either explode or dispel. As she describes how a birthmark was spread with just one sacrifice, one tiny scratch above the wrist. I was not the one to bind her hands behind her back and tell her that finding a body is common, an arrowhead rare. But the wager had been made, and though rain had been predicted, it wasn't the wind that was going to disturb those graves, nor the rain. And it wasn't going to be me, because I had seen it all before, and I had no reason to dig up that face again. The calico bride. Bent on finding that face, that old lonesome face that reminded her of her.
hard frost, pale ring around the moon. And in my garden, amongst dead leaves of tomato plants and a few shriveled peppers, lies a frozen snake, curved as a teardrop and rimmed with ice. The moon, full, spills its cold light as I circle around and around again. Drawn closer, I bend to him until he sheds his death to dance with me under the circled moon.
By restaurants, saloons, or art galleries. When I think of man, all the men become lonesome. And when I think of women, all the curves of this planet become apparent. And the shape of the ear, or a hollow body guitar, have something more in common than just sound. And when I think of me, or Jackrabbit, or the blood thing that keeps us coming back to these perilous high plains, I know what lives will be caught in a dead run. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Thank Jefferson County Libraries, Eric Walter, Michael Adams, and the Wild Spaces of America. Thank you. Good night.